wanted to make a video for the people out there that are feeling down. Excuse me. Drinking this Team X protein gorilla powder. It's like 2,500 calories per drink, and you just gotta like chew on it. So that shit it's like drinking cement. But yes, if you hear me chomping, sorry about that. You get down, you feel down, and this could be for life, or this could mainly be for the gym. When I'm speaking, I'm currently speaking from the gym because I feel pretty happy. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy of the progress that I've been able to make in this past year and some change from my accident. I'm happy that, I got my family around me and good friends around me. And for as much crap that's happening in the world, I still appreciate the things that I have. But sometimes you get down. And I know that I was feeling a little bit down on myself today and kind of this whole week. Not entirely, just mainly with the gym. And, like 2 weeks ago, I ended up getting sick. I got bit in the face by a dog, had to get some stitches in my face. Not a problem, not a big deal. The sickness put me down, and I kind of took a week off from the gym. So I got back into it this week, knowing that I'm not 100, but I still gave 100. And a lot of my lifts were just kind of like, eh. And sometimes you go through those stages, and I constantly remind myself of, my first year when I really started getting into the training after my accident. Usually your first year, if you're really grinding, it's all growth, baby. It's all growth. Your graph should be, if you're training with somebody or you're training with yourself hard the way you should and effectively, your graph should take off. That's why a lot of people who don't go to the gym and see getting a better physique or a healthier physique or living a healthier lifestyle and adding the gym often is looked at as this mega chore. But they don't realize that if your mind is in it and you really do commit, that first year is like, it's like a gift from God, because it's like if you really do apply yourself, your results and your growth is going to be very positive, and it's going to reflect in the work that you do. So it's something that you don't have to mess around with, or shouldn't have to mess around with, for a long, long time to see the results. I mean, everybody obviously is going to be different, but if you're really pushing it that first year, you should see a good amount of results. And eventually, if you're training, this is a whole different category of that. If you're really training it to the max, you not only are going to see those results, but eventually you're going to hit a wall. And that's all right, because there's no, unless you're doing some pterodactyl blood or something, as a normal human being, you can't just progress and progress and progress. So it's normal. So when I hit my wall, my true wall on the majority of my regiments, I knew, I was like, all right, I'm pretty strong and I look a lot better, but now I'm hitting walls, so I had to change things up. Not a problem. But when you keep training after the year goes on, your first year, because I was never really into the gym and training like that. And then I kind of had to after my accident. And I found myself really into it. Really into the lifestyle. Yeah, my food intake could be better. I'm working on that. But training in the trenches as hard as I can has gotten me some really, really awesome results. And sometimes you get down when you don't see, the progress anymore. And even though I know that I'm still strong, I'm in better shape than I've ever been. Can't speak for other people, but I know I can run with a lot of people. I'm in good shape. I should be proud of myself, and I am proud of myself. It's just like tonight, I did a leg and shoulders, and I did like 26,000 pounds in like 40 minutes. And I was pretty much done with my legs. And after that, I was just, I don't know, it was getting in my mind. I was like, do you really want to run in the shoulders? And I just decided to call it, because if my mentality isn't focused, and it's not that I wasn't focused, I just wasn't 100% locked into it like I normally am. And I kind of felt like that all week, and I know that I'm not feeling as good. And my body inside is not feeling as good. You know what it's like when you're sick, you just feel like a weaker version of yourself. Even though I'm still in there, I'm still moving some serious stuff and lifting heavier stuff. Like I hit some PRs, I got 4 PRs tonight, or 4 records. I know like 2 of them were like a PR, but I just found myself on the way home, just kind of like, damn, what's going on, man? And it's like, well, I know I'm sick. I know I'm recovering from the sickness, and it's just like that separation from mind and body that you really need when you're training and when you're lifting. And and it not only made me think to make this video, it made me think of everybody else out there that is feeling the same way, where they feel like they're not seeing that progress, or that progress has stopped, and you don't feel like you're moving anymore. And I think that what the real answer to this whole situation is that you're still there, you're still training. I have to be proud that, like, you took your week off, you're still sick, you're still there. Progress will come, the growth will come. I know I've lost a little bit of weight, but my lifts are about the same. I'm looking more shredded, definitely need to get my weight up. That's my plan for the next few months, is to really focus on packing on another 10 plus pounds, 15 pounds if possible. But that's besides the point. But that's what I know I need to do in order to have a little bit more torque to lift heavier, because I would like to lift heavier. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you're like, if you want to lift heavier, you got to be a little bit heavier. You can't, it's uncommon to see somebody, not saying that I am, but to see a 90-pound person bench pressing 240. It's just, you get to it, even if they're strong as hell and can do like 160, almost 200 pounds, that's impressive. It's not common. So you need to add some more mass behind the lifts, and that's kind of my plan. Like I said, that's besides the point. But I'm looking at all this stuff. Progress, sometimes it goes up, and sometimes it goes down. Like I know recently my incline Smith press has been kind of but then I would go and get on a chest press machine, and my numbers have been really going up. Where before, my chest press machine was kind of not the best, and I was doing better. So, the body's kind of transitioning between, recovery over here and amplifying over there. But, regardless of tracking all those numbers, sometimes you just get in that mindset and that headspace of like, I want more. I want more and I want more. And that's the thing, is like, we as ourselves want more. And we're putting in the work, and we're doing the things, and we're putting our mind into it, and we're pushing ourselves, really working hard. And it's just that, like, our will to want more has a faster speed than our ability to actually produce those results and the strengths and the looks, and But all in all, I feel like I'm very proud, and you should feel proud too. If you've been doing whatever you're doing, if, like I said, if this isn't fitness thing in life, that, I hear people all the time saying like, oh, I feel like a failure because I can't buy a house. I feel like a failure because, I can't afford much. I feel like a failure because, and it's like, dude, the world failed us. the world is failing us. It's not you. Sure, everybody has some things that, you get to be better at, but don't be so hard on yourself. Like, this world is ruthless, and just be happy with the good things that you've done, because in the time of your life when you could have did more crap, you could have produced more garbage, you made some good moves, you made some good choices. Like, I'm no saint. I've done a lot of things in my life, good and bad, but I look at the good things that, I produced when, I wasn't obligated to produce good things. I could have just been like, whatever, man, but I didn't. I tried to do the right thing, or I tried to stand up for somebody, or I tried to, give more than I really wanted to give, or more than I had to give. So, the moral of the story, I think, is just to be satisfied with what you've done so far. Keep grinding, keep trying, but take it easy on yourself and lighten up, because I feel like that's what I need to do sometimes. And I get in my head, like, I'm not storming out the gym, like, smash my headphones or anything like, this is bullshit. Like, no, I'm very, very happy with my results. And, if I see people look at me at the gym sometimes, and whether I'm lifting something that's incredible or incredible to me, or something that's super light, and maybe they're low-key judging me, it's like, if they only knew where I was not too long ago and could hear the story, I'd probably be like, yo, that's respect, man. Like, you've come a long way. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the work that, nobody forced me to do this. Nobody, didn't break my back in half, put some rods in there, crack most of my ribs and all the rest of the injuries, and then be like, all right, we're gonna bench 200 pounds, like, only a few months later. Like, I never benched that day in my life, let alone with all that. So, I'm proud of the mentality, and I just get a little bit on myself sometimes. And, when you look around at everything else going on, you're like, dude, I can't blame anybody right now for not being in the most optimistic mindset. I can't blame anybody for taking on some water when nothing really seems like it's going right now. And and then you're like hitting the gym, and you're like, man, I'm just hitting these walls. It's like, well, you'll break through, but hopefully you're at least fit, or you're at least in better shape than you were 5 months ago, 10 months ago, a year ago. And that's, if you can't measure the progress in the last couple lifts, you can measure that progress by the last, the duration of your career working out, or months ago. And yeah, I see the graphs still projecting. Maybe I can't, or don't feel as good when I'm doing it this week as I did it last week, and it doesn't perform as good reps or good sets or whatever, but it all evens out. It all comes back around. I'm still in here, and I'm still stimulating growth, and growth will come. So that's really it for this one, guys. I appreciate you. I know that it's tough out here, but just keep doing your thing. And I think right now in life, what we need to really focus on, as crazy as it sounds, is just connecting with ourselves and being a little bit more happy with us. Because I look around at everything going on, and I'm like, this doesn't make me happy at all. It's not the world I want to, can't even really do much right now. Everything's $1 trillion, all this nonsense, all this drama, and I just want to have a good time with, other people who want to have a good time. And we're all hurting, but if we focus on the happiness and the life within ourselves, then maybe that's the key to, figuring out how the hell we can deal with all the rest of the stuff, that we can't control. So that's really it for this one. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.